Okay, today we're looking at a pretty much a typical under deck situation where you want to make it dry. We're using the Under Deck Oasis system. This is a post-built deck, so it means that there's a post that are holding the outside rim joists, and then the joists are attached to that outside rim joist. So the post here, we're actually going to have our gutter running on the outside here to drain the water. And so right now you can see we're already, the 2x6 is already partially installed. We're going to finish installing that, we'll wrap that, and then we're going to flash the area in between the posts and bring that water back over and into the gutter. So all of this will have a finished look after we get done with it. So to start by doing that, we removed this trim that was up here. We removed this trim so we can put our 2x6 on here, as you can see there, and further down as well. This part here is just temporarily to put on here just to attach the 2x6 and keep it straight. We chalk lined the line all the way across the top, so we have a nice straight line all the way across. It's very common for posts to be twisted, maybe not quite be centered, and we kind of try to straighten it up as much as we can, but you can't make a crooked deck straight, but we come close, because metal does not bend as much as wood twists and turns it back and forth. Okay, now that we have our board that we're going to attach our gutter to, we're going to call this the fascia board that the gutter is going to be attached to. There's an area that's in between the post where the water is going to be coming through here, and we want to get that water in the gutter. And we're going to do that with an aluminum flashing. And so what we're going to do is we're going to bend a hem. I'll show you that in a moment. A hem here, and then we're going to bring that across this 2x6, and this 2x6 is actually 1 inch lower. The top of this 2x6 is 1 inch lower than this area here, so we're going to have a 1 inch pitch over to here and drop it, and then that's going to come on the back side, or basically the inside of the gutter on this side here. We also need to wrap this 2x to make it all look the same. So our gutter is going to be white in this case. The 2x6 fascia board is going to be wrapped, and then the flashing is all going to be white. So we're going to bring this whole area white, and we'll show you how we do that next. All right, so this is video is not on how to use a brake, but we're going to show you some other pointers as we're going through with the brake as well. So I'm just going to use the razor blade knife. I'm going to clamp this down. I've already measured it out. We'll go over those measurements in a bit, but right now we're going to cut it to width-wise. Just going to adjust it, clamp down, check our numbers. Lock it in place, score it, sharp knife, make a cut. All right, we're going to make the hem piece, or the top piece, that's going to go on the top of the 2x6, just a little 1/2 inch mark. Okay, now we're going to bring the 5 inches down. It'll be on this side of the 2x6. Let's get this other piece out of the way. I tend, if I can, make it about a 1/16 bigger so it fits easily on the 2x6. Quick way to check it, put your 2x6 on it. See, that would have been too tight over here. See how that would have been too tight? I don't want that too tight, so I got to drop this off back a little bit. Very important to make sure you get this measurement as well. Okay, now we just need to notch it out, so when we put this on, where the post is right in the way, we just need to notch out a 4-inch section off of here. We've allowed this to be longer so that we can use it so to just have a slight overlap in between. And the reason we don't make it this is all one piece in between the posts is sometimes we actually do, but my break is only 10'6", and this is 11-foot span between the posts. Okay, I'm gonna measure 4 inches over. This area is still going to be exposed underneath the 2x6, so we're just going to basically take off a small section just like that, and that'll tuck up right behind it, because in this case there's a little bit of space in between the 2x6 and the post. Okay, now that we've notched it out for the post, we can simply put it on, take it up, bring it over, and we're just going to put as few screws as possible onto it. The more screws you put into it, the more oil canning it's going to show. So the gutter's going to go here, so we're not going to put any screws on here. We'll screw high on the back side. Very few screws are needed for this. Because it's already form fitting, it's already sitting on there together. So now we're going to make the flashing that's going to attach up underneath here and flash the water back over top of the 2x6 and into the gutter. So first thing we're going to do is make a hem. So a hem is a very short bend on your brake. So I'm just bending the first just a 1/2 inch. Half inch all the way over. Then with that hem, take your brake up and close it all the way. Lay that right there on the brake, and the brake's going to squeeze it right here. Basically, the hem's just going to squeeze it back up. Now we've hemmed it. Okay, we've created a piece of flashing. This flashing is just going to go up over and bring the water up over top of the fascia board, and we're going to be able to put our gutter up underneath. This edge here will actually be like a drip edge. The water comes in. So we've got a hemmed edge. Just going to take it over. Adjust it in place. Use our matching zip screws. I'm going to put a screw about every 8 inches. Since this is dropping 1 inch over 1 foot, there's no need to try to seal this little bit. You don't want to trap any water up in there, so whatever little minor drips that come through here, let it come through. Most of the water will be going right back into the gutter on this side. Okay, now that we have the 2x6 wrapped, we have the overflashing that comes over that's bringing the water on the in between the post back over top of our fascia board that we've wrapped. Now we've installed the gutter up and behind it. You can see how the flashing now works like a drip edge into the gutter. Now it's up loosely at this point on the outside, and we'll tighten this around. As you can see around a post, as I bring the next piece of gutter in and join it in, then I will do all the detail flashing above it and seal all of that to make sure we get all the water in, leaks, as few leaks as possible. Now some of these posts, ideally, you see all the little cracks up in here that are up in here. Water can get behind. We have no access to that. We're not responsible for that area over there. Ideally, before you put the deck boards, if you put flashing, either a rubber membrane or some ice and water shield above that area there, you can keep it so no water's ever getting into your post to make your deck last a lot longer. But that's something outside of the area that we are doing with an underdeck. What we got is a piece of flashing to go around the post to go up there, and we're going to screw it in, and then we're going to reseal it after it's all installed over there, and that's going to be able to make it so it goes right over the post. All right, so I'm going to seal all of this all the way around this post with that flashing that I just put up, and then I'm going to smooth it out with just a spatula. And I really like these silicone spatulas. I actually picked this up at the dollar store. It's a Betty Crocker one, really good, and this stuff's been on there for a week, and it just peels right off of it. It makes it really easy to smooth it all out and keep your fingers clean. Point number 2, that one's a free one. Just like to talk about this job a little bit, so that the homeowner here would like to be able to use their in-ground pool, their hot sauna. They have a whirlpool back here. There's a pond in the backyard. They really use this space a lot, and so they didn't want to use just a wet underdeck. Let's just waste this whole space. So they've asked Under Deck Oasis to come out and install the system. And just want to talk about some of the things that we overcome. We overcame so far bringing the water in between the post and bringing that back over. So we've got all the water into the gutter. We're putting a downspout on this end over here. There's actually a room on this side of the deck. So about half the area that we're doing actually has a room above it that extends way out. So in that case there, we were able to keep the ceiling a little bit higher, and we used our low clearance carrier as well as our standard carrier. Normally we have to use the standard carriers to bring the system down enough so that we can do the overflashing. And there's no overflashing on this G channel because there's no water coming down in any of this area. So we were able to keep it up a little bit higher, and it's also longer, so we've got a longer pitch to go to, so we can keep it as high as we can as we go around this corner here where the water is here. So at the end of the day, we will be able to make it a nice waterproof and maximize the space that they have underneath their decks. All right, we're going to demonstrate how to install a panel now that we have our carriers are up and they're pitched correctly. We're going to slide the panel in here. So first we're going to start by putting the panel up into the gutter section, and I'm just going to barely catch underneath there and slide it all the way to the back of the gutter. By doing so, it'll have enough clearance on the G channel. I'm going to hold it up, slide it in. I don't want the back side to lock in there, so I'm just going to catch it on these front teeth. These teeth right here. Just going to barely catch it on this end over there, just like that. And I'll move over to the second middle carrier and barely catch it on the teeth. And then again, barely catch it on the teeth. I'm using my thumbs and just barely putting a little twist on it. Now I'm going to lock the back side of the flange here. You can hear it click, and I'm going to go in sequence back to here. Now this is fully engaged on the front. I still have to lock it in the back, and it's just a simple push on the back like here, and my panel's good, locked in tight. Okay, let's talk about lights and ceiling fans. On this particular house, we've got planned for 6 lights. And what we want to have the electrician do is run us the gray Romex exterior grade wire to approximately the location of where the light will go. As you can see, we got one planned for here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 2 are going to be in the same line, and we're going to put flashing above that area before we get started. Okay, so the pan flashing we're going to use is aluminum. That's part of our kit, a roll of aluminum. We have 14.5 inches in between the joist, but we want it to cup, so a little bow in the middle of it. So we're actually going to make that part 15 inches, and then we want 1 inch on the end for an attachment flange. So I can put it up just between like this, so I bow it, slide it up, then I'm going to attach it with zip screws on the sides here, and then I'm going to reach back over and seal it from on top with our sealant. Okay, let's talk about lights. We've got the flashing up there, so we're over flashing so there's no water coming down. We flash this area and sealed on both sides of the joist, and now we're getting we've temporarily set our supporting system. It's going to support a ceiling fan or light fixture through here. This is just temporarily up here right now until I put it in the next pan, and then we'll set in exactly where that light's going to go. I can drop this down, I'll reach back over and secure this to the joist on both sides. For both of these. We actually got 2 lights in this bay. We're calling it a bay between 2 joists. So this is just what it looks like before you put it in the pan. So I seal around the wires above here, then I seal it right directly above here and here so no water could track all along here and get into that hole there. We flashed all the water, so no water coming directly on there. One other thing that we do to keep the water from getting into the light area is water could possibly track down here, a real heavy rain, come back here and come back this way. So we want to take the water out of the equation. In order to do that, we're going to take another piece of over flashing, same over flashing that we use going around. We're going to put that right up here. So we're going to take the water and flash it over so it's not coming back. back. So I just want to review the whole light installation or ceiling fan installation for the Under Deck Oasis. So we've got our wires coming through the panel here at the high point. It's supported into this bracket that we build and we bring up, and then we bring it down after we install the panel. And prior to that, we put it over flashing and we keep the water away from this area. We also add flashing on both sides of this joist and this joist that's over inside here on this side, and keep the water well away from the light fixture. We also put these composite blocks inside here. It's up inside there. It's in there so that when I put this box, when this box gets attached on here, that we don't crush these panels and put it in too tight. And it's very important that you use the screws that come attached to it, that come with the light kit, so you get no chance of this thing moving around by using a smaller screw. The holes inside here mate perfectly with the screws that we've brought with the kit. We're going to use a 3/8 because we have 3/8. We'll put this up there, and it's slightly off center. We don't use the center hole because we want to give lots of room to use these wires when they put it into the light fixture. So we're going to line this up right here. You could hang from that. We have these tags put on there so the electrician doesn't push these wires up. It tells them at least wait 36 hours for that sealant to dry and get a little bit get firm to hold them in place. They'll not be pushing. Do not push these wires back up.